Everybody look confused, How do we make these moves, How do we always improve, No, we ain't nothing like you. We on top cause we don't stop and all we do is gradual. Everyone's so grouchy cause they puppets and we animals. We don't whine, we just break bread with the team, holy mackerel. Know us, and we raining, better grab a boat.
We a different breed, talking alien. Survivor of the fittest and we play to win. Grab another bounty and get paid again. Then we fade into the dark like a gradient. Dark like a gradient. Dark like a gradient.
Space, force through your tape. We fast forward, we came through that time warp. Your foreheads look like wharf. Everybody look confused, How do we make these moves, How do we always improve, No, we ain't nothing like you. We on top cause we don't stop and all we do is gradual. Everyone's so grouchy cause they puppets and we animals. We don't whine, we just break bread with the team, holy mackerel. Know us, and we raining, better grab a boat.
Poke the bear, you better go in there. My fireworks in the sky like a Roman air. An imposer in the throne, and it stole my chair. Any moment here could become a polar bear. It's cold in here, in a flash like a solar flare. The Vulcan here, my whole career, they cloak the beer. They will get over me and then it won't appear. In iguana like a fauna, now I go to be deer.
Space, force through your tape. We fast forward, we came through that time warp. Your foreheads look like wharf. Everybody look confused, How do we make these moves, How do we always improve, No, we ain't nothing like you. We on top cause we don't stop and all we do is gradual. Everyone's so grouchy cause they puppets and we animals. We don't whine, we just break bread with the team, holy mackerel. Know us, and we raining, better grab a boat. Space, force through your tape. We fast forward, we came through that time warp. Your foreheads look like warp. Everybody look confused, How do we make these moves, How do we always improve, No, we ain't nothing like you. We on top cause we don't stop and all we do is gradual. Everyone's so grouchy cause they puppets and we animals. We don't whine, we just break bread with the team, holy mackerel. Know us, and we raining, better grab a boat.
Wow. Space Force, wow. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Ryan's in here, too. He's silent, though.
Yeah.
This one for my aces, came from different bases, traveling them places, yeah, conquering the nations. Ain't no rocket science, but chemistry what made us.
Welcome to Plausible Foolishness. Sorry about that. Again, I forgot the audio. This is what happens when you're by yourself. It's episode 200. And the Kick-Ass Duke just paid his taxes voluntarily. And we thank you for that. It's episode 200. We're talking about Build Back Better, which is which was Joe Biden's campaign slogan, and now is a massive spending bill. But don't worry, it's no longer $3.5 trillion. It's $1.75 trillion. So, still a massive amount of money that, we'll probably never be able to pay back. I mean, they could just mint a platinum coin that's worth $1 trillion, that garbage. But, yeah. We're just going to look into it and see how we're screwed. People are comparing it to the New Deal, and I asked myself, wasn't the New Deal just a net negative for the country? Wasn't it just bad all the way around? Like, Social Security came from the New Deal. And now we're, at birth, assigned a number. All right? We're just numbers to the government. That's not dystopian at all. As well as the modern welfare state and all of that jazz. This is just, and not to mention that Social Security is bankrupt. By the time we get it, and especially our children, it won't exist. Just all this garbage. And so now we're doing it again. That's good. It works. The good thing about the Democrat Party is that they learn from their mistakes. No, they don't. And I wanted to thank Dusty again for paying his taxes. And I was mentioning before, when you couldn't hear me, that there's a link in the About section of Twitch and in the liner notes of YouTube and Facebook that is a donation, a place where you can donate money directly to us. Streamlabs takes none of that money, so it 100% comes to us. And you can set it for monthly recurring tips or donations if you wanted to do that, or not, whatever you want to do. But when you subscribe through Twitch, you end up we get less than half of it. So, if you want all of your money, all the money that you're spending to actually go to the cause that you want to support, we suggest doing it that way. But back to the Build Back Better. Build Back Better. Oh, I mentioned also, if you didn't know, Build Back Better is the slogan not just of Joe Biden's campaign and this spending bill, but the World Economic Forum used it as their slogan for the Davos Summit. So, no globalist conspiracy there. So, after weeks of back and forth, President Joe Biden released a new framework for his Build Back Better agenda Thursday, which includes approximately $1.75 trillion of investments to combat climate change, extend healthcare coverage, and alleviate child poverty, among other priorities. This is from CNBC.com. The Build Back Better framework, quote, will set the U.S. on course to meet our climate targets, create millions of good-paying jobs, and grow our economy from the bottom up and the middle out. From the bottom up and the middle out. Is that how economies grow? From the bottom up? I don't think that's the way that they grow. I don't think that's the way that they grow. I think they grow from the top down when the people with the money risk that money to start a business, which creates jobs, which expands the economy. The White House said the current iteration of the plan was made in concert with Senators Kyrsten Sinema of Arizona and Joe Manchin of West Virginia, who have been holdouts among Democrats in supporting previous plans that cost significantly more money, but included provisions like paid family leave and free community college. Democrats need all 50 senators on board to pass legislation. No Republicans support the legislation. Good. Although I bet that some of them put stuff in the bill. We're not going to vote on it, but we'll definitely put stuff in so that we can get, some money for our states and stuff. So let's look at what's in it. So they're expanding the child tax credit. It extends the enhanced child tax credit for 1 year. In 2023, assuming it is not extended again, it will revert to $2,000 per child from the current $3,000 to $3,600 cap. So, so the money that we started getting in July, that was supposed to go to the end of the year, it will be expanded for a year. And I told you, as soon as this money starts coming, they are going to renew it. We said that on this show months and months ago. They're going to renew it. This is not a one-time deal. They don't just give out free money and get you on the hook and then take it away. They're going to keep it going. They want you to depend on them. And so now they're extending it and they're increasing it. So it'll be it's about they're extending it to $3,600 per child, so that you get basically $300 per child a month for the entire year. So yay. But one change was made permanent, however: full refundability. This means the poorest families, those that don't typically earn enough money to file a tax return, will continue to qualify for the credit, a change that was made in this year's American Rescue Plan. So if you don't pay any taxes, because you don't make enough, because we have a progressive tax system, you still get money back. This is welfare. We're now all on the welfare, and it's just automatic. Separately from the CTC, the plan says it will support, and this is going to pass. Let's not kid ourselves. This bill is going to pass. They just need 2 senators who are Democrats. They're on the left. They don't mind spending. They had a little bit of a problem with the $3.5 trillion bill, but they'll vote for this. Separately from the CTC, the plan says it will support parents who are looking for work, or participating in an education or training program, and who are making under 2.5 times their state's median income by covering the cost of childcare for children under 6, so that childcare costs no more than 7% of a family's income. It's going to have universal pre-K. This plan establishes universal and free preschool for more than 6 million 3- and 4-year-olds. Parents will be able to send children to high-quality preschool in the setting of their choice, from public schools to child care providers to Head Start. A summary of the framework reads. Now, how long until, if you want to get the money that the government is subsidizing for the children that you've been teaching, how long do you have to meet certain educational standards? In other words, how long before your child care, your daycare that you run privately, is required to teach what the government wants you to teach? They're coming younger and younger for our children. And don't be surprised when, your kids are learning about transgender issues in pre-K. It's coming. Mark my words. Climate investments. The largest part of the framework includes around $550 billion of investments in clean energy and other climate change initiatives, including an enhancement of existing home energy and efficiency tax credits, an electrification-focused rebate program, a credit of up to $12,500 for U.S.-made, union-made electric vehicles. So, the Biden administration wants by 2035 for half of all cars to be made in the U.S. to be electric-only vehicles. And Biden just recently said that you can get across the country on a single tank of gas, for all intents and purposes, on a single battery charge, is what he means. Get all the way across the country on a single battery charge. That's not true, folks. That is not true. And since it's not true, where do you fill up? And how do you fill up quickly? Who has the time to go to the gas station and wait an hour or more for your car to charge again? Hopefully the place you work, you can get to on a single charge. And granted, you probably can. You probably can get to work on a single charge. I'm not being ridiculous that you can't do it. But then, that they have a charging station where you work. If not, where is this supposed to happen? And then, even then, most of our energy comes from coal. So you're still burning fossil fuels to power your electric car. Yeah, there's no emissions out of the car itself, but your electricity consumption just went up, and so still more emissions. That is, and that's not even mentioning that America is one of the least pollutive countries in the world. Are we the best? I'm not going to say that we're the best, but we're not anywhere near close to the worst. China, India, Pakistan, they're way worse. And China isn't changing a darn thing. They don't care. This is the whole... We've been saying this forever. The whole climate change thing is a scam. All right? Under Obama, we made billions of dollars of investments in clean energy. And what did it get us? Scandals like Solyndra. Where the money went to it, they spent a ton of it, and then they ended up going bankrupt because there's not a market. Like, just because you're investing in this thing doesn't mean there's a market for it. Right? And you might think there might be a market for it. Sure, people want to pay less for their energy bills. I want solar energy to be viable. It just isn't. It's not cheap, right? These things aren't viable until they become cheap and efficient. It's not as efficient. It just isn't. You know what it is, though? And is extremely clean. Nuclear energy. Can't talk about that, though. Not that we'll get kicked off of YouTube yet, but nobody wants to talk about nuclear energy. Build nuclear power plants. First of all, our technology has far exceeded what it was when Chernobyl went kablooey. Fukushima was a natural disaster, a tsunami. And even then, it was pretty well contained. They did a pretty good job. Nuclear is clean. The waste that a person produces, the entire waste that a person produces in a year is the size of a can of soda. All right? The size of a can of soda. And there's technologies being developed right now that can turn that waste into a battery that will run for freaking ever. We could be driving around in nuclear cars. We could be driving around in nuclear cars, right? That might be, I mean, crashes might be way more deadly. So, you know, granted, I'll grant you that. So maybe we don't want to fly around, right around on nuclear cars. Unless they're automated, unless they're self-driving and accidents are a thing of the past. But either way, we could be powering many things with the waste from the nuclear power plants. It could be done. We should be utilizing it, but we won't. And then on top of that, all of this is a scam because it's not about, and you know this from things like the Paris Accords. It's not about us actually doing anything because all of the money that we're spending, all of this money won't change our emissions, and it may change our emissions, but it won't change the warming or the cooling or whatever we're doing because it's constantly changing. You know, because climate change is an actual thing, but man-made is the question. And it's all of these accords, all of these things that we sign on to, all of these plans have us spending tons and tons of money while the rest of the world changes nothing. Especially the biggest ones, China and India and so on, they don't change anything. They're still polluting like crazy. And it affects the temperature by, you know, 1/10 of a degree. All of our efforts. Yet we spent tons of money. This is a scam focused on wealth redistribution. This is just about getting America's wealth out of America. Because they don't think we should have it. Because they believe that wealth is a fixed commodity and we've stolen a ton of it. And that's garbage economics. But I digress. Let's continue. Healthcare coverage. The framework allocates around $130 billion to expand Medicaid and reduce premiums for Affordable Care Act coverage. This is one of the failures of the Trump administration. Sure, they got rid of the individual mandate. Thank God for that, you know? But the fact that there is still an Affordable Care Act is a huge problem. So because here we are, a new administration, different party, and we're spending $130 billion on propping it up. It's the worst system ever. It's so expensive for horrible coverage. And it estimates premiums for FCA plan enrollees will fall by an average of $600 per year. Whoop-de-freaking-do. That's $50 a month. Hooray. My plan still costs over $300 for nothing. I don't have a plan. I have mine through my job. But I've looked at them. They're garbage. It also expands Medicare coverage for hearing services, but not for dental or vision coverage. And it provides uninsured individuals living in states that did not expand Medicaid $0 ACA premiums to make healthcare more accessible. Again, more welfare state, more interference in markets, and there's not going to be much to show of it. It's not really going to drop all that much. Like I said, $50 a month. Whoop-de-freaking-do. If it even gets that far. Affordable housing. The plan invests $150 billion in affordable housing provisions, including the construction and rehabilitation of more than 1 million affordable homes across the U.S. and investments in rental assistance and housing vouchers. It also includes down payment assistance for first-generation homebuyers to purchase their first homes. In addition to the provisions outlined above on climate change, healthcare, and more, the plan includes investments for elder care, Pell Grants, and free school meals. So they're going to interfere in the housing market. Hooray! That's going to work out well. That was never a problem before. Tax changes. The current version includes a slew of tax changes to pay for the legislation, including a surtax of 5% on personal income above $10 million and 3% on income above $25 million. Where are we going to see that? In jobs and in the cost of living. A 15% minimum tax on corporate profits of large corporations with over $1 billion in profits. Where are we going to see that? In jobs and the cost of living. A 1% tax on stock buybacks. A 50% minimum tax on foreign profits of U.S. corporations. 50% minimum tax on foreign profits of U.S. corporations. Where are we going to see that? In jobs and in the cost of living. Yeah, they say that they're taxing the rich, but it eventually hits us. The cost of living is already increasing. We've seen it in gas. We see it in the prices of food and other items, lumber, so on and so forth. And some of that is shipping because of the pandemic, so they've been taxing us that way. You know, making sure that, you know, companies like Amazon and Walmart and Target are the ones that get our money, not, you know, small businesses and your local grocer and so on and so forth. You know, yes, it is depressing, JBN. You're absolutely right. But a 50% minimum tax on foreign profits of U.S. corporations. So let's say we have a U.S. company that makes something and we sell it overseas. They make that money overseas, but now 50% of that money that they made overseas is going to be taxed, which means they either raise prices on us or they raise prices on what they sell overseas, which means they don't sell nearly as much, which means there's no jobs for you here to make the thing that they sell overseas because they don't make nearly as much as they used to, because they don't sell nearly as much as they used to, because they don't make nearly as much profit as they used to. It's common sense. It's a logical line, but they don't care. They just see rich person has more money. That no fair. Me take it. Me take it, give it to poor people. What's not included? Notably, paid leave is not part of this version of Build Back Better. Yeah, so they wanted to do like a universal paid leave for, you know, mothers and fathers when they have a kid or adopt a kid or whatever. And, you know, like, would that be nice? Sure. I guess, you know. But do I need it? Is it absolutely necessary? No. That's one of the big things they're upset about. That you know, there's a lot of people upset about that not being there, and I'm like, is that really on the top of everybody's list? No. I want my gas cheaper. I want my rent cheaper because you're not interfering in it. You know, I want the shelves at the store to be filled with products, you know, that I need. Like, I don't know, meat. No, but paid leave. It's a big one. It was going to be 12 weeks of guaranteed paid family and medical leave for every U.S. worker, which was then scaled back to 4 weeks. Instead, no paid leave made it to the current version. So, and I'm sure that they were going to pay for part of it or something. You know, that's just more money down the drain. Okay, they also nixed the billionaire's income tax. Now, this is a good one. I'm glad this is gone too. The details of which were unveiled Wednesday. This would have taxed unrealized gains of certain assets of around 700 of the richest taxpayers in the country and helped fund the legislation. Sure, it's only the top 700 of the richest taxpayers. So what do you care? I care because it's frickin' wrong. Do you know what that means, unrealized gains? It means that they haven't sold whatever stock or bond or whatever it is that they've invested their capital in. They haven't sold it. They haven't actually made any money. The thing that they own has just appreciated in value. It's increased in value. And so they want to tax you because it increased in value. But it could drop in value too. Are you going to get your money back when it drops? No. God, no. They're just going to take it when it increases. I mean, taxation all the way around is theft. That is egregious theft. Because not only, like, that's the thing about capital gains that people don't understand, is that it's not, the profits from selling the item that you make, right? That money is already taxed at a different rate, at a higher rate, especially if you're, really rich. Now, but some of the richest people make most of their money through capital gains. That means that they made money. And that was they made money the standard way. They built a business or whatever, and then they took the profits that they made from that, after paying all of their workers and all of their debts and all of that stuff, or maybe some of their debts, paying what they owed on debts, at least, the minimum payment. They took that money and then they invested it in something, in another company through the stock market, in venture capital, things where, like, starting up other businesses and so on. And then they made a return on that profit. They made the money that they invested, made more money, and then you capital gains pays the difference. You pay a tax on the difference in what you invested to what you got back. So, let's say you made $3,000, you invested $3,000 in it, and it grew to $4,000, and you get that money back. You don't pay taxes on $4,000, you pay taxes on $1,000. So this is money that has already been, the original money has already been taxed. And now you're just making money off of, you're making money off of money that's already been taxed. And now they're going to just steal it before you even get the money back. It's not actually, it doesn't actually have value until you sell it, right? It's like you make a product and the government comes in and says, okay, you're going to owe us, a 20% tax on every item that you are going to sell. Not that you've sold, but that you're going to sell, which is hopefully every item that you've made. But you may not sell every item. But they're going to take their money first. And as you make it and its popularity increases or decreases, the price may fluctuate. So you may end up, it's egregious. And Luna Lotus says, yes, wrong to take from that, but also doesn't fix anything. That's right. It doesn't. I saw another article, and it was estimated that they would make another like $200 billion a year from that. What is $200 billion in light of $1.75 trillion? Now, the $1.75 trillion is over 10 years, supposedly. But since when has the projections of what a bill like this is going to cost been accurate? Never. It always costs way more. This is just going to be a travesty. Yeah, it's a drop in the bucket, JBN. You're absolutely right. So this is just frustrating. But it's good to know that this is out. But just that it was on the table, that this was even a thought in their head, is bad. That's bad news. Because you know they're going to bring it up again. They're like, oh, that was a good idea. I like the taste of that. We're going to have to try to serve that up again. And they will. And then it says it's the top 7, it's those 700 richest companies and blah, blah, blah. But how long before it's you, too? I mean, they're already raising, they're raising the capital gains tax from 20% to 25%. Who does that hurt? The person who's making millions of dollars off of their trades? No. I mean, that's a lot of money. 5% of millions of dollars is a lot of money, but they're still getting a lot of money, right? And these people are doing it they're doing it with information like, that we don't have, that you and I don't have. Like that's the whole deal with hedge funds and Robinhood and all that stuff. Robinhood is that platform where you can invest, but there's no broker fees, right? It's free for you to invest. But it's actually not free. You're not their customer, right? And we saw that during the GameStop thing when they made it so that you couldn't buy GameStop anymore. You could sell it, but you couldn't buy it because it was hurting their real customer, the hedge funds. See, what they do is they give you this investment, portal for free. And then they take all the information about how you invest and they sell it to the hedge funds. And the hedge funds can take that data and mine it and make better, easier, smarter, quicker decisions. And make that much more money because they have information on the market that you don't have. They have information on you. And so those people aren't going to lose money, but I mean, they're going to lose money, but they're not going to lose, it's not going to hurt them significantly. Who does it hurt? It hurts us who are trying to, make an investment to lift ourselves up, to try to make a better life, and now we're going to get taxed at the same rate because it's capital gains. Right? So it's just a bigger barrier for you to change your situation through capital gains. All under the guise that we're sticking it to the rich guys. No, we're not. Yes, we are getting a little bit more of their money. But, that being said, I'm sure that there's loopholes and all kinds of ways to prevent this. Prevent you from losing. And they've got teams of accountants and lawyers to make sure that they can find every loophole. And they've got lobbyists to make sure that the legislation includes those loopholes and so on and so forth. It's really just a barrier for us. It's just a barrier for us to change our situations through things like the stock market and cryptocurrency. Yeah, this is an attack on cryptocurrency because cryptocurrency is capital gains too. Unless you're getting tokens as income somehow, Like, I think there's a new token called Mobility, and it's about esports. And so they're trying to build a token that esports organizations can use to generate, tournament winnings. So if you got your winnings in Mobility token, you would have to pay that as income, not capital gains. As always, the middle class eats it, making the poor poorer. Insider knowledge, able to read future investment trends. 100 That's exactly what's happening. And I'm sure there's people in Congress who think that they're actually cool. I don't think AOC. I think AOC is just a useful idiot. The static jumped up, man. How's that? There we go. Yeah, that happens. I don't know why it keeps jumping up. It's something to do with our board or our cables. But all I do is unplug the cable and plug it back in. Boom, it's better. It's weird. So what was I saying? Inside able to read future investments trends. I forgot what I was going to say. But either way, none of this is about, you know. I don't think. I think AOC is a useful idiot. You know, very passionate about what she believes, but she doesn't know. You know, she somehow acquired an economics degree, but apparently didn't learn anything, or was taught a bunch of garbage. And so, you know, she probably thinks that this, you know, well, she definitely thinks this isn't progressive enough, and there needs to be more. And but you know, but I think she's a true believer who thinks that this will be better for people. You know, and then there's others like, you know, Biden and Pelosi, who know that this isn't going to help anybody. This only makes them more powerful. It makes them possibly richer. This is not, no, this is not helping anybody. Yeah. On that note, thank you for watching. You've been watching the Plausible Foolishness, home of the Rube Empire, where the people are free. The taxes in the Rube Empire are voluntary. In fact, you can follow the link in the chat, or down in the liner notes, or in the About section, and you can support us. I didn't have the ticker up here, but we have a goal of $150 to help keep the multi-streaming function going, which really helps us with you know, getting our stuff out there. So if you can support us in any way, $1 or $2, hit that link, and we'll get one step closer to getting that. We need to get it done by the middle of December. So if you can help us out with that, that would be fantastic. And also there's a link in the Discord, or a link in the chat for our Discord group. Keep the discussion going and meet your fellow citizens. So again, the people are free, the taxes are voluntary, and we serve freshly roasted liberal logic every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 9:30 p.m. right here on twitch.tv/plausiblepoolishness, YouTube, Facebook Live, Rumble, anywhere you can get a podcast, Instagram, and minds.com. Peace out.
What? Wow. Space Force, wow.
Space Force through your tape. We fast forward, we came through that time warp. Your foreheads look like warp. Everybody look confused, huh? How do we make these moves, huh? How do we always improve, huh? No, we ain't nothing like you. We on top cause we don't stop, and all we do is gradual. Everyone's so grouchy cause they puppets and we animals. We don't whine, we just break bread with the team holy mackerel. Know us, and we reign in better grab a boat. Whoa.
We a different breed, talking alien. Survivor of the fittest, and we play to win. Grab another bounty and get paid.